Welcome back to the Deep Dive. This week you handed us a stack of sources that really bypass the highlight reels and go straight into the schematics.
Yeah, the deep technical stuff.
We're talking high-stakes playoff football. We're deep diving into the divisional round where the X's and O's aren't just lines on a whiteboard. They're colliding with some intense personal motivation.
That's right. Our mission today is super tactical. We really need to unpack what the sources are calling maybe the most revolutionary element in modern offense, Ben Johnson's whole mastery of pre-snap motion.
So we're going to look at how he creates confusion, how elite defenses are trying to build counters, and this is the interesting part, how off-field drama is literally shaping game plans.
It's a huge factor.
Okay, so let's start with the foundation of Johnson's whole approach. There's a core fact here that shows this isn't just luck, it's a staple of his strategy. His offenses, the Bears this year, the Lions for the 3 seasons before, they consistently rank top 3 in the league in fourth quarter and overtime points per game.
Yep.
And win percentage when they're trailing.
That's a huge sample size.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence. It proves the system is built for when the pressure is at its absolute highest.
It's an endgame mastery.
Totally. I mean, that's when defenses are tired.
Yeah.
Right? Communication starts to falter, and the strategic excellence of the offense really shines through. He just relies on precision and confusion to capitalize on those late-game mistakes.
So let's get into the mechanics of that confusion, because it's so elegantly simple, it's brilliant. Walk us through the defensive baseline first. How do defenders normally categorize receivers?
So defenses, especially in zone coverage, they live and die by a numbering system.
Okay.
They start from the outermost receiver, the guy near the sideline, and they work their way in. So you have receiver 1, receiver 2, and receiver 3.
And every single defensive player has a job based on those numbers.
Exactly. A nickel corner might have 2. An inside linebacker is running with 3. That numbering, it's sacred. It's the entire language of the defense.
Okay, so it's a stable, predictable system.
Until it's not. Now you introduce a player like Colston Loveland, who the sources are really highlighting as this key motion change guy.
Right.
Loveland might start as the outermost receiver, so he's the designated one. But then, right before the snap, he just sprints full speed across the entire formation.
And the whole language just breaks.
The language breaks. The player who was originally receiver 2 is instantly forced to become the functional 1 because now he's the widest guy. And Loveland, who's now in the middle of the field, he's become the new 2 or 3.
So the corner who thought he had 2 suddenly realizes 2 is a completely different person in a totally different spot. His whole plan, his drop, his angle, it's all wrong.
It's all wrong. And the visual and numerical identity of his target has changed milliseconds before the ball is even snapped. Communication is the failure point here.
Right, because someone's supposed to yell it out.
The corner is trained to yell, "Alert the motion! Alert the motion!"
Yeah.
But when it happens that fast, that close to the snap, the internal clock just runs out. The call is too late. The play's already happening.
So wait, does man coverage solve this problem? I mean, if I'm covering Loveland, I just follow Loveland, right?
In theory, yes.
Yeah.
In man-to-man, you're trained to lock on the motion and you stay with your guy. But that confusion still creates major issues, especially for inside linebackers.
Okay.
You take a guy like Quay Walker, he might be assigned to a tight end. When that high-speed motion crosses his face, even if he stays with his man, it shifts the entire spatial relationship of the play. It opens up windows he wasn't expecting.
And Johnson doesn't just use this motion generally, he deploys it surgically, right? Especially in the red zone to force those mismatches.
That's the real genius of it. The premise is always the same.
Yeah.
Get a wide receiver matched up on a slower linebacker. In that condensed area, foot speed is everything.
And he uses this inside-out motion to do it.
Exactly. So think about tight end Cole Kmet. He'll line up inside, maybe as the number 1 slot receiver.
Okay, so the linebacker, Quay Walker, he's comfortable there. He's used to covering a tight end.
He's comfortable. But then Kmet flashes out, pulling a safety or a nickel with him.
And that spot Kmet was in is now empty.
Or worse, it's instantly filled by a different, much faster player. A receiver like Zacchaeus, who is built for speed, suddenly replaces Kmet in that critical inside zone.
And the linebacker is just left there thinking.
He's thinking, I'm not supposed to be matched up man-to-man against a wide receiver here. But the speed of the play makes it feel like man coverage. He has nowhere to go.
And that's the goal. A receiver on a linebacker in space.
That is the exact vulnerability Johnson is trying to engineer on every single snap.
And it is undeniably effective. The source material confirmed that in his last divisional game against the Rams with the Lions, they used motion at the snap 60% of the time.
A season high.
A season high, and they won that game 26-20.
Yeah, and what's so interesting is that Sean McVay is usually the one creating those motion advantages. Now, his defense has to stop the very tactic he helped popularize.
And his defense is good in these spots.
Historically, elite in the postseason. Since 2017, they have the second highest defensive sack percentage and allow the third fewest yards per game in the playoffs. They know how to game plan for this kind of chaos.
Okay, so let's flip it. Let's look at the counter strategy. How will the Rams offense attack the Bears defense to keep Johnson off the field? What's McVay's counterpunch?
Well, they're turning the motion advantage on its head. They're deploying what you could really call the Where's Waldo approach with Puka Nacua.
I like that. Where's Waldo?
The whole objective is just to make the Bears defense search for Puka on every single down. Force them to use up all that communication bandwidth that Johnson is disrupting on the other side of the ball.
So it's not about hiding him. It's about presenting so many possibilities that the defense can never get set.
Precisely. The Puka plan is all about movement. Shifting him from the backfield to tight formations to inside alignments. The goal is clear. Avoid matching Puka against the elite outside cornerbacks.
So move him inside against safeties or linebackers.
Let him win those one-on-one matchups where his strength and his route running can just dominate.
Is there a risk there, though? I mean, are you overthinking it by moving your best weapon around so much? You might be sacrificing target volume.
It's a valid strategic question, but the sources suggest this is very, very targeted. They're trying to create quality matchups, not just a quantity of targets.
And there's precedent for this working against this defense.
There is. Just last week, we saw LaFleur successfully isolate Jaden Reed inside against linebacker Tremaine Edmonds for a touchdown. McVay sees that exact vulnerability right in the middle of the field and knows that using Puka's elite talent there is worth the trade-off.
And this is where it gets personal. We're moving from just X's and O's to the drama that adds this incredible layer of motivation.
Yeah, this is it's a high-stakes family affair.
Explain the coaching tree connection.
Sean McVay's best friend is Matt LaFleur, the coach Ben Johnson just beat. McVay's current offensive coordinator is Mike LaFleur, Matt's brother. This is probably the tightest coaching fraternity in the entire league.
And after that wild card win, Johnson was reportedly, let's say, not so polite to Matt LaFleur at midfield.
And that treatment, as the sources put it, did not sit well with the McVay coaching tree. Not at all.
McVay even talked about it publicly?
He did. He basically framed it as, it is family, it is competition. So when you have the intense competitiveness of Ben Johnson meeting the personal loyalty of the McVay-LaFleur circle, the intensity just goes through the roof.
It sounds like the McVay camp really felt a line was crossed.
Absolutely, and that grievance is fueling the intensity of their preparation. When you have Mike LaFleur coordinating the offense against Johnson, you know that personal element becomes a tactical factor. It's amazing.
This isn't just a scheme battle anymore. It's about family honor and pride on the sideline.
And Johnson, being who he is, probably relishes that tension. But it guarantees the Rams' planning is going to be at maximum intensity. And maybe maximum aggression.
Okay, so while that whole tactical and emotional battle is fascinating, we're seeing equally intense strategic prep over in the AFC. Let's shift to the Broncos defense and how they plan to slow down Josh Allen and the Bills.
Right, especially with the Bills having all those injuries at wide receiver.
And the Broncos led the league in sacks. Their whole philosophy is
pure aggression. They want to attack. If you're watching this game, you're going to see them bring guys and come after the Bills. They're just looking for one-on-one wins up front.
So on a standard down, what should we be looking for specifically?
On standard downs, look for what they call the 5-on-5 look. You'll see 5 defensive linemen matched up against the Bills' 5 offensive linemen. They are challenging every single blocker to win an individual battle.
But isn't that risky against Josh Allen? I mean, he's one of the best scrambling quarterbacks. If that rush doesn't get home...
He's got a lot of space. That's the inherent risk they're willing to take. They are prioritizing pressure over containment, betting on their talent up front. But they do offset this on third down with movement.
Stunts and games.
Stunts and games, yeah, designed to confuse the protection.
Yeah.
The source specifically mentioned their D-end, Stern number 40. You'll see him do this classic stunt. Starts at the field, draws a tackle out, and then loops around for a free rush.
And that leads to a sack.
Often does.
Yeah.
It's about using movement and timing to confuse the protection when they absolutely have to have a stop.
Okay, let's talk personnel adaptation. The Bills are hurt at receiver, so Dalton Kincaid, the tight end, he's become their most reliable target.
They really has.
So what's the crucial mismatch tactic the Broncos are expected to use to neutralize him?
This is a perfect example of using your talent dynamically.
Right.
They're expected to match their #1 corner, Patrick Surtain II, directly onto Kincaid.
Wow. So taking your best cover guy from the outside and moving him inside on a tight end, that's a huge commitment.
It's a massive commitment, but they've done it before, and it works. It's a recurring tactic for them. They use Surtain successfully against Travis Kelce. They use him against Brock Bowers.
Why does it work? Why are they so comfortable doing that?
It's Surtain's unique physical profile. He has the length of a premier outside corner, but he also has the foot speed and the quickness to handle those inside short area routes that tight ends run. He's not just a straight line guy.
So they're leveraging his elite skill set to just take away Allen's favorite target, rather than trying to cover him with a linebacker or a safety.
Exactly. You take your best player and you put him on their most dangerous target. You force Allen to look elsewhere, to rely on guys who might be less experienced, especially in a high-pressure spot. You shut down that tight end, you limit his safety valve,
Which makes him hold the ball longer.
which plays right into their sack-heavy defensive plan. It all works together.
So wrapping this up for the listener, what does this all mean? We've pulled out 2 key tactical insights for you to watch for. First, the speed and precision of Ben Johnson's pre-snap motion. It's designed to completely break that defensive counting system.
Turning static numbers 1, 2, and 3 into these fluid, moving targets that force instant communication breakdowns.
And second, we're seeing this targeted deployment of star players, Puka Nacua being moved around like Waldo to isolate a linebacker, or Patrick Surtain moving inside to just erase an opponent's best pass catcher.
It's about exploiting specific vulnerabilities. I mean, defense requires perfect communication, alert the motion, lock on the motion. It has to be flawless. Offense thrives on causing that immediate confusion and then just leveraging their talent in the chaos that follows.
So here's the final thought for you to mull over. We've established how much the personal rivalry between McVay, the LaFleurs, and Ben Johnson is fueling this Rams matchup. The sources suggest this could actually translate to aggressive tactical decisions on the field. For instance, there was talk about the Rams potentially making contact with Loveland off the ball, a really aggressive move to physically slow down that motion. The question is, when a rivalry is this personal, does professional revenge start to supersede objective risk assessment? Does pure emotion actually start to dictate strategy at the highest level? That's something to watch for.